There's a certain kind of person who understands the language of a diesel engine. It's a low, rumbling dialect that speaks of power, potential, and a hard day's work ahead. For them, the sight of a massive excavator isn't just a piece of heavy machinery, it's a promise. It's the promise of transformation, of taking a tangled mess and making it orderly, of carving a new future out of the raw earth. This isn't just about moving dirt or lifting logs, it's about imposing a little bit of human will on a world that often has other plans. The hydraulic hiss, the clank of the bucket against rock, the steady track of the treads, it's a symphony of progress for those who are tuned into its frequency. It's a fascination that often starts young, with a toy truck in a sandbox, and for some it never fades, it just gets bigger. The sandbox becomes a sprawling farm, and the plastic shovel becomes 20 tons of American-made steel. The appeal is primal, it's the ability to reshape your environment with a few deft movements of a joystick, to do in an hour what would take a team of men a week to accomplish by hand. It's about leverage and force, but also about finesse. Watching a skilled operator delicately pluck a single log from a pile or grade a patch of ground to a perfect level is like watching an artist at work, a sculptor whose medium is the land itself. This connection to the machine goes beyond simple operation. It's a partnership. You learn its quirks, the specific groan it makes under a heavy load, the exact amount of pressure needed to get the job done without overdoing it. It becomes an extension of your own arms, your own will. For folks who make their living with these mechanical beasts, the relationship is deep. They depend on this machine to put food on the table, to clean up after a storm, and to build for the future. It's a trusty steed, a workhorse that never complains, asking only for fuel, grease, and a bit of respect. That's the unspoken bond between man and machine. And let's be honest, there's a little bit of fun involved too. Who wouldn't want to command a machine that can rip a massive tree stump out of the ground like a bad tooth? There's an undeniable satisfaction in it, a feeling of capability that's hard to replicate. It's about tackling big problems with big solutions. In a world that's increasingly digital and abstract, there's something profoundly real and grounding about doing physical work that leaves a tangible mark on the landscape. It's a reminder that with the right tools and a little bit of grit, you can quite literally move mountains or at least a very large pile of dirt, which is just as good on most days. A farm is a place of constant motion, a perpetual cycle of growth, harvest, and renewal. It's also a place that generates a whole lot of clutter. Old equipment, forgotten piles of scrap, and the general detritus of daily life can accumulate, turning a productive space into an obstacle course. This is where the excavator earns its keep, not just for digging ponds or clearing land, but for the endless task of housekeeping on a grand scale. A typical day might involve tackling a long-neglected corner of the property, a place where things have been piled up for years. The machine's powerful arm and grapple can reach in and untangle the mess with a precision that's almost surgical. The excavator becomes the ultimate multi-tool. With a quick switch of attachments, it can go from lifting heavy, awkward objects to clearing brush and overgrowth that has crept in over the years. It's about creating order from chaos, making the land more efficient and, frankly, safer to work on. That old burn pile that's been an eyesore for a decade, the excavator can consolidate it, load it into a dump truck, and have the area cleared and ready for a new purpose in a matter of hours. It's this versatility that makes it an indispensable part of modern farm life, transforming daunting, back-breaking projects into manageable daily tasks. Consider the simple act of organization. On a farm, that means moving things that weigh hundreds if not thousands of pounds. An old rusted-out piece of tillage equipment, a stack of concrete blocks, or a pile of field stones. These aren't things you move with a wheelbarrow. The excavator handles them with ease, allowing the operator to methodically sort and stack materials. It's a slow, deliberate dance of power and control. One minute it's gently stacking salvaged logs for a future project, the next it's crushing an old metal shed into a compact bundle for recycling. It's the kind of cleanup that feels less like a chore and more like a conquest. Every scoop of the bucket, every swing of the arm, is a step toward improvement. It's about reclaiming valuable space and making the entire operation run more smoothly. A cleared-up yard means better access for trucks, safer pathways for equipment, and a general sense of order that boosts morale. It's not the glamorous work of planting or harvesting, but it's the foundational work that makes everything else possible. The excavator in this role isn't just a machine for digging, it's a machine for resetting the board, clearing the clutter of the past to make way for the productivity of the future. If there's one constant in the world of heavy machinery, it's the unquenchable thirst for fuel. These iron beasts run on diesel and lots of it. A hard day's work for a dump truck can mean burning through 80 or 90 gallons. And when you add in the excavator, the skid steer, and other equipment, the numbers start to get serious. We're talking about a monthly fuel consumption that can easily reach 2,000 to 3,000 gallons. Managing that kind of volume isn't just a matter of running down to the gas station with a few cans, it requires a dedicated on-site fuel system, and as your operation grows, so too must your ability to keep the tanks full. This is the predicament many operators find themselves in. An old 500-gallon tank that seemed perfectly adequate a few years ago suddenly becomes a major bottleneck. You're calling for fuel deliveries constantly, and you run the risk of shutting down a job site because a machine ran dry. The solution is to think bigger. It's a significant step, but upgrading your fuel storage is a crucial investment in efficiency. The plan often involves moving up to something more substantial, like a pair of 1,000-gallon tanks. This allows for bulk fuel purchases, which can save money, and it provides a much larger buffer, ensuring you always have the juice to keep working. The upgrade isn't just about volume, it's also about organization. A smart setup involves having separate tanks for different types of fuel. One tank for on-road diesel, which is subject to highway taxes, and another for off-road diesel, often dyed red, for use in farm and construction equipment. This separation is essential for staying compliant with regulations and for accurate bookkeeping. It streamlines the entire refueling process. Instead of juggling fuel from a mobile trailer for every machine, you have a central, high-capacity station where trucks and equipment can fill up quickly and get back to work. It's a simple change that can save hours of logistical headaches each week. Ultimately, a fuel system upgrade is a statement of intent. It signals that your operation is growing and that you're planning for the future. It's a proactive move to eliminate a potential point of failure. Running out of fuel in the middle of a critical task like cleaning up after a storm is not an option. By investing in larger tanks, you're not just buying more fuel storage, you're buying peace of mind. You're building a more resilient, self-sufficient operation that's prepared for the increased demands of bigger jobs and a growing fleet of thirsty, hard-working machines. Before you can install those big, beautiful new fuel tanks, you have to give them a proper home. You can't just plop a 1,000-gallon tank full of diesel onto the soft ground and call it a day. It needs a stable, level foundation that can support the weight and prevent any shifting or settling over time. This is a job that calls for precision, and it starts with the excavator. The first order of business is clearing the designated area. In many cases, this means taking down a few obstacles. A couple of strategically located pine trees, for instance, might need to be removed to create a larger, more accessible turnaround area for the big fuel delivery trucks that will be visiting. With the trees down and the area cleared, the focus shifts from demolition to construction. The excavator scrapes away the topsoil, getting down to the firm subsoil beneath. This is where the real site preparation begins. The goal is to create a perfectly level and compacted base. The operator has to have a good eye, carefully carving out the footprint for the new pad, ensuring the dimensions are correct and the grade is just right. It's a delicate process. Too much digging, and you've created a hole to fill. Not enough, and the pad won't be stable. It's a testament to the operator's skill to see a rough patch of ground transformed into a neat, level rectangle. Once the base is prepared by the excavator, another key player rolls in, the skid steer. This nimble machine is perfect for the next phase, which involves building the gravel pad itself. Truckload after truckload of gravel is brought in and dumped, and the skid steer gets to work, shuttling the material into place and spreading it evenly across the prepared ground. The operator works back and forth, building up the layers, making sure the depth is consistent throughout. This gravel pad serves several purposes. It provides excellent drainage, prevents weed growth, and creates a solid, all-weather surface for the tanks to rest on. After the gravel is spread, the final crucial step is compaction. The weight of the skid steer running over the gravel helps, but for a truly solid pad, a compactor might be used to ensure there are no soft spots. The result of all this work is more than just a pile of rocks. It's a purpose-built piece of infrastructure. It's a clean, stable, and professional-looking foundation that says, this is a serious operation. It's the unseen but essential groundwork that supports a critical piece of the farm's logistical puzzle, ensuring the new fuel tanks will be safe and secure for years to come. There's nothing quite like a powerful storm to remind you who's really in charge. One minute you're going about your business, and the next, the wind is howling and the sky is unleashing its fury. When the storm passes and the sun comes out, the real work begins. On a property with a lot of trees, the aftermath can look like a war zone. Limbs are scattered everywhere, and entire trees, sometimes massive ones, are ripped from the ground and tossed aside like toothpicks. This is when the phone starts ringing, and the excavator becomes an emergency response vehicle, tasked with clearing the chaos and restoring some semblance of order to the landscape. The centerpiece of a recent cleanup was a colossal white oak, a real giant with a trunk diameter of at least 30 inches. It had stood for generations, but a rotten base finally gave way in the face of the storm's power. A tree this size isn't something you can clean up with a handsaw and a pickup truck. It's a job for heavy iron. The first step involves the chainsaw, strategically cutting the massive trunk and limbs into manageable sections. But the real muscle is provided by the excavator, equipped with a powerful grapple attachment that can grab, lift, and move chunks of wood that weigh thousands of pounds. The process is a methodical disassembly of the fallen giant. The excavator operator carefully picks through the tangled mess of branches, sorting the debris. The smaller branches and brush are grabbed by the fistful and loaded into a waiting dump truck, which will haul them away to be processed or burned. It's a slow and steady rhythm of cut, grab, lift, and load. Safety is paramount, as the immense weight of the logs and the tension in the wood can be unpredictable. The operator has to be constantly aware of the machine's balance and the positioning of everyone on the ground, turning a potentially dangerous situation into a controlled demolition. Cleaning up after a storm is more than just a physical task, it's a psychological one. The sight of a majestic old tree, once a landmark, now lying broken on the ground, can be disheartening. But as the excavator works, clearing the debris and stacking the salvageable logs, a sense of recovery begins to take hold. You're not just cleaning up a mess, you're healing a wound in the landscape. You're taking the destruction wrought by nature and beginning the process of turning it into something useful again. Each truckload of brush hauled away is a step back toward normalcy. When a massive tree like that 30-inch white oak comes down, it's not just a mess to be cleaned up, it's an opportunity. To the untrained eye, it's a pile of firewood. But to a resourceful operator, it's a treasure trove of high-quality lumber waiting to be claimed. This is the art of salvage, the practice of seeing value where others see waste. Instead of just chipping the entire tree or letting it rot, the best parts of the trunk are carefully set aside. These straight, thick logs are destined for a second life. It's a satisfying process, turning a casualty of a storm into a valuable asset for a future project. The plan for these particular logs is born out of a specific need: new decking for a trailer. Good, sturdy hardwood planks for a trailer deck can be expensive, and finding quality material isn't always easy. By salvaging these white oak logs, the operator is essentially sourcing the raw materials for free, aside from the sweat equity required to process them. These newly acquired logs are added to a growing pile, a collection sourced from other jobs like the Beely Good clearing from months prior. It's a long-term game of patience and planning, slowly accumulating the right materials until there's enough for the project. This mindset of salvaging and reusing is a hallmark of a smart, efficient operation. It's about more than just saving money. It's a philosophy of resourcefulness that extends to everything on the farm or job site. Why buy new when you can repurpose what you already have? This approach requires foresight, the ability to look at a downed tree and envision a finished trailer deck, or to see a pile of scrap metal and imagine a useful repair part. It's about minimizing waste and maximizing the potential of every single resource that comes into your possession, whether it's a fallen tree or an old piece of equipment. And so the pile of logs sits, a testament to patience. It took 6 long months to gather enough prime timber, but now the collection is complete. The next step will be to get them to a sawmill, to have them sliced into thick, durable planks. There's a profound satisfaction in this process. You took something that was broken and destined for the burn pile, and through careful work and planning you transformed it. You'll be able to look at that finished trailer deck and know the story behind it. The storm that brought the tree down, the work it took to haul it out, and the vision that gave it a new purpose. No single machine can do it all. A successful operation relies on a fleet of specialized equipment, each with its own role, working together in a carefully choreographed dance of power and utility. The star of the show is often the Volvo excavator, the heavy lifter and the primary mover. With its long reach and immense hydraulic power, it's the machine that tackles the biggest challenges, from uprooting trees to digging foundations. But its true strength lies in its versatility, especially when paired with attachments like a grapple, which transforms it from a digging tool into a giant, precise hand capable of sorting logs and clearing brush with surprising dexterity. Playing a crucial supporting role is the dump truck. This machine is the circulatory system of the job site, the tireless workhorse that hauls materials in and debris out. Whether it's bringing in fresh gravel for a new equipment pad or carrying away load after load of storm-felled branches, the dump truck is in constant motion. Its importance is underscored by its massive fuel consumption, the very reason for the fuel system upgrade. Without the dump truck, the excavator's work would quickly grind to a halt, leaving giant piles of material with nowhere to go. It's the essential link that keeps the entire cleanup and construction process flowing smoothly. Then there's the nimble and versatile skid steer. While the excavator handles the heavy brute force tasks, the skid steer takes care of the finishing work and jobs requiring more agility. It's the perfect machine for spreading gravel evenly, for grading smaller areas with precision, and for moving materials in tighter spaces where the big excavator can't go. It complements the excavator perfectly, taking the baton to complete the finer details of a job, like building the fuel tank pad. Its presence on a site means that the right tool is always available for the right task, increasing efficiency and the quality of the finished work. Finally, you have the unsung heroes of the operation, the mobile fuel trailer and the trusty chainsaw. The Thunder Creek fuel trailer is a lifeline, allowing for on-the-go refueling of equipment at remote job sites, keeping the machines running without having to transport them back to a central base. And the chainsaw, though small in comparison, is indispensable. It's the tool that makes the excavator's work possible, cutting massive logs into sections the machine can handle. Each piece of equipment, from the 20-ton excavator to the handheld saw, is a critical cog in a larger machine, a symphony of steel working in harmony to get the job done. A good operator is never truly satisfied. Even after a long, productive day, their mind is already on the next project, the next improvement, the next expansion. The work is never really done. It just evolves. As the business grows and the equipment gets bigger, the infrastructure that supports it has to grow as well. An open-sided equipment shelter that was once sufficient starts to feel cramped. The dream of a proper enclosed workshop begins to take shape, born from the frustration of working on expensive machinery in the dirt and the mud. It's a vision for a more efficient and professional future. The plan is ambitious but practical. It involves adding a 40-foot extension to the existing equipment shelter, creating a whole new bay to house more machinery. But the most exciting part of the plan is the enclosed workshop section, a dedicated 28 by 40-foot space. This wouldn't be just another pole barn, this would be a real shop. The vision includes a large roll-up door for easy access and, most importantly, a smooth, solid concrete floor. The thought of being able to roll a creeper under a truck or not lose a small bolt in the dirt is the kind of dream that keeps a mechanic going. It's a move from making do to making it right. Of course, a modern workshop needs one thing above all else: power. Running electricity out to a remote farm building can be a major undertaking, but here, a bit of neighborly good fortune comes into play. A neighbor is running a new power line nearby, creating an opportunity to tap in. This potential access to reliable electricity is a game changer, turning the dream of a fully functional workshop into a tangible possibility. It means lights for working after dark, power for welders and compressors, and a warm place to turn a wrench during the cold winter months. It's the final piece of the puzzle for creating a truly professional workspace. These plans for expansion are about more than just comfort and convenience. They are a direct investment back into the business. A better workshop means maintenance and repairs can be done faster and more effectively, reducing equipment downtime. It means having a secure, organized space for tools and parts. It reflects a forward-thinking mindset, an understanding that to keep growing, you have to build a solid foundation. These aren't just idle daydreams, they are the blueprints for the next stage of the operation, a clear plan for building a bigger, better, and more resilient future, one concrete slab at a time. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the newly cleared land, A unique kind of quiet settles over the farm. The roar of the diesel engines fades, replaced by the gentle chirping of crickets. This is the moment of completion, the time to step back and survey the day's accomplishments. The air still hangs thick with the scent of diesel exhaust, fresh-cut pine and turned earth, the unmistakable perfume of progress. Looking around, you can see the tangible results of hours of hard work. The ground where the 2 pine trees once stood is now a smooth, level gravel pad, patiently waiting for its new fuel tanks. There's a deep, bone-weary satisfaction that comes at the end of a day like this. Every muscle might ache and you might be covered in a layer of dust and grease, but you can see what you've built. The massive, storm-felled oak tree is gone, its salvaged logs neatly stacked and its branches cleared away. The farmyard is a little bit cleaner, a little more orderly. The skid steer and its buckets are loaded onto the trailer, cleaned up and ready to roll out to whatever challenge the next morning brings. It's a feeling of closure, of a job well and truly done. This feeling is the ultimate reward for the work. It's not found in a paycheck, though that's important. It's found in the physical evidence of your labor. You didn't spend the day pushing papers or sitting in meetings. You moved tons of earth, dismantled a fallen giant, and laid the foundation for future growth. You can point to a spot and say, I did that. In a world that can often feel intangible and digital, this connection to the physical, to the real, is incredibly grounding. It's a powerful reminder of what you're capable of with the right tools and a willingness to get your hands dirty. And so, with the equipment parked and the day's tasks complete, it's time to head home. The plans for the new workshop and the next big project can wait for tomorrow. For now, it's enough to appreciate the quiet moment of victory. It's the simple, profound pleasure of seeing a messy, complicated problem resolved through skill, power, and persistence. It's the satisfaction that comes from leaving a place better than you found it. That's the real payoff. The feeling that makes all the dust, diesel, and sweat completely worth it day after day.